Hello internet people, my name's Ruthie, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. You'll get notified when I make new videos. So far on this channel, I've been talking a lot about my journey with ulcerative colitis and dealing with IBD on the daily and the different surgeries I've had and just different things that come to my mind. This channel is basically going to be whatever I feel like talking about. But everything on this channel I can guarantee will be honest to my life experience and how I'm feeling the moment I'm talking about it. I hope to guarantee that there is something helpful and a useful mind tool or a useful way of thinking in each video. And I really hope that that's true because I've just been going crazy my whole life trying to think of all the different ways to think. I am just trying to share what has been working for me and be very honest when things aren't working for me. I want to be very upfront with also saying this. I am currently dealing with and healing from different traumas. I'm super hopeful I will talk about them at some point on this channel, but I want to put a full disclaimer out there because I know that I have a look. I know that I have like this thing where people think that I have it figured out and people think I'm good now, I guess, is what I hear a lot. And it's just not true. I don't talk about everything I'm going through, and I don't talk about every aspect of my life on here. I think what it is that when you talk about something that's generally considered private, people assume that you are just spilling everything and that you're putting your whole life out there for display. And it's just, that's not what it is. And I encourage anyone out there who is maybe considering making YouTube videos or talking about things that matter to them online in some capacity, Twitch or whatever, TikTok, just to do it, because when you are watching other people do it, it's very easy to come up with these stories of how their life is so much more together and that they have this thing that you just don't have. And I can tell you, because I have felt those feelings very strongly, actually doing it, that's the only thing that sets you apart from those people, is just the act of making the video. You don't have to have everything figured out in order to give advice. You don't have to be fully healed to heal people.
No.
That idea in general, I have to be fully healed before I can like be seen or heal people, has kept me from doing a lot of things in the past. What's the word for that? I think cognitive distortion. I've been going to therapy and we talk about like common cognitive errors and distortions. I feel like it's one of those. I don't know if that's the right term. I'm not a therapist. If you are, call me out in the comments. Totally fine. I'm trying to learn. But basically, this idea was in my head and controlling me for a very long time of just like, I cannot go out and be seen by people. I can't practice healing arts until I fully healed myself, because I was under the impression that
if there was dark parts inside of me
and areas of my body that I physically still struggle with and have not healed, even deep parts of my soul, like past life, and if that stuff still exists inside of me, then I will in some capacity pass that on to someone else if I try to like heal them with my hands or whatever. And it's just, it's not true. The more I think about it, the more I think that this is laziness, this thought. That thought will have a different source in whoever's having the thought, of course. But I think for me personally, that thought is stemmed by laziness because, I mean, I know I struggle with laziness and procrastination for sure. And I also think it was just an excuse to not actually go out and do the work. Because it's all these like, well, I can't do it until I do this. It's basically just a vicious cycle of negative self-talk, you know? Not understanding or not acknowledging the true power that you already have inside of you. That all of us have, and that's not like a thing that only some people have. This is a huge thing. I made a video sort of all about this, just problems with the yoga and wellness and the spiritual community in general. So I feel like a lot of people who are healers out there, Reiki healers, energy healers, sound healers, meditation teachers, yoga teachers, even just regular teachers, I think you can bring healing into whatever profession you choose to have. I don't think you have to be officially like a healing arts practitioner. Musicians, I honestly think musicians are the ultimate, in my opinion, musicians playing concerts, that is the ultimate healing. That is the ultimate group healing session, a concert. It's so beautiful. Oh, I miss concerts so much. Yeah, whatever form of healing you partake in, or even if you don't even call it that, even if your whole thing is just, no, I make music because I enjoy it, or I dance because it feels good for my body, that is also a healing art. You're healing yourself and therefore healing others. I know a lot of people probably don't refer to themselves as a healer, even if they are. And it's definitely not necessary that you talk about being a healer in order to be a healer. In fact, in some cases, I feel like that becomes like a little bit performative to be like, I'm a healer. I just don't really vibe with that much, but I know that I do that. You know, everyone's journey is different and everyone has different connotations with words that they use or hear. So, I mean, literally take everything that you hear in your life, take it with a grain of salt, because you have to acknowledge what the other person's perspective is in life. When you're listening to me, my life experience has been illness. I have been chronically ill since I was 15, and even before that, I just always would have a stomach bug. I had scoliosis, so I had a back brace. I had all these just weird issues where I would just found myself in doctor's offices very often, and hospitals, and all that fun stuff. So for me, healing is everything, because I would be sick at home and looking at the world via the internet and through my window, I would just see people who I felt were healthy and happy. And if I ever wanted to see myself in that position I saw other people in, I knew I had to heal. And that was just like the mantra for me. It's just like, I need to heal, I need to heal, I need to heal myself, I need to heal everything. So that's really why I gravitate toward those words, healer and healed. I've tried to work many other jobs in the past, and I just always end up sick and in the hospital and in another fucking surgery. And it's just so exhausting. So I'm like, all right, I never saw myself originally as being someone who is like an energy healer or a yoga teacher even, or a meditation guide. I never saw that path for myself. It just wasn't my thing. But I feel like the universe has quite literally pushed me and forced me into these positions, because if I want to be a healthy working adult, then I have to have a career where I am healing myself as I'm working. That's kind of why I am on this path that I'm on now. I mean, my official job is that I'm getting unemployment. So I make some money every month from Insight Timer. I've talked about Insight Timer on here, but I'm going to talk about it again because it's the best app ever. I know I would not be doing guided meditations if it wasn't for Insight Timer. I should just do a whole video talking about Insight Timer. I think I'm going to at some point. But the whole reason I started making guided meditations at all was because I was looking for guided meditations for my stomach problems. And I really was just on the hunt for a guided meditation that I could listen to while I was on the toilet, because at that point in my life, I was spending many hours a day on the toilet. The most I have logged officially was 9 hours a day on the toilet. And that's not living. That's not life. That was before my surgeries. I think the longest amount of time I've spent recently on the toilet is probably like 30 minutes. If you are someone with IBD and you don't know why you have to like keep getting up and back to the toilet, it's because inflammation makes you feel like you're about to poop your pants when you have inflammation down there, but you don't actually necessarily have to go. So for me, I'll be on the toilet and feel like I'm gonna poop myself as soon as I stand up, but when I sit down on the toilet, nothing comes out. That's the feeling of inflammation. Classic IBD or IBS. If you're experiencing issues like that, definitely talk to your doctor. And I know simply from observing my own mind and body that for me, this stuff is super triggered by my mental state. I am not saying the disease is caused by your mental state. I'm just going to talk about what I know, what has directly affected me. And I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And that is a genetic disease. My uncle had it, a lot of people in my family who have had it. Ulcerative colitis is the chronic inflammation of your colon. It's very similar to Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease is the chronic inflammation of your intestines. So actually what can happen to some people is that you have Crohn's disease, but in your colon. So it can disguise itself as colitis. So for my uncle, he had Crohn's disease in his colon. They thought it was colitis. So they took out his colon because they were like, oh, no colon, no colitis. And then the Crohn's just spread to his other intestines. So bullshit. I've heard that story many different times. They've been watching me for something like that to happen also, since I did have my colon taken out, but I haven't had any serious inflammation spread anywhere else yet, so. But anyway, back to healing. So I originally started making these guided meditations because I wanted something that I could sit on the toilet to when I'm in those moments of chronically going back and forth to the toilet, where I can just actually release whatever is in my body that needs to get out, try to sync up my mental state with what's going on in my stomach, and actively relax my stomach and actively soften the whole area. I was scouring for meditations like that and I never found it. So I wrote my own. I recorded it for the first time just because on Insight Timer, literally anyone can go on there and record meditations or music or just talks. The people who are on that app are amazing. It's a worldwide community. Everyone is so loving and so sincere. Everyone I've come into contact with and really connected spiritually. My favorite teachers on there are Jennifer Piercy. She has been helping me sleep for I think 3 or 4 years now. I've been listening to her sleep meditations and they're magic for me. They're absolute magic. And also Tanis Fishman. She has amazing Yoga Nidra sessions. And Yoga Nidra means yogic sleep, so it's the act of watching your body fall asleep, basically. It's staying conscious and awake in your mind while your body is completely relaxed and then falls asleep, and then going through your body and exploring the different sensations and the different things you feel and the different layers of reality in your body. It's a beautiful practice. It's changed my life as well. I will put links to those 2 teachers down below, and I get a lot of my cueing style from them, and there's a lot of things that click. And I also want to mention that if you have tried listening to guided meditations and they just haven't really clicked with you, keep searching around. Because personally, I have experienced some of the most transformative and powerful and personal realizations in my own mind by listening to others' guided meditations, but it really has to be a person that clicks with you. It is a very personal thing. So I might have the best cues and I might have a script that connects with you, but for whatever reason, my voice might remind you of someone that you hate, and then you're just thinking about that the whole time. I really think of it like the words are just little pieces of code going into you. Everyone has a different code. Everyone has a different style of what words do you need to hear in order for you to get into that state where you are receptive to the next words that are coming. Kind of like a hypnosis process. It's super, super personal. Search around for someone whose voice you connect with, someone's voice you hear and it just sounds like butter to you, and you're not thinking about the tone of their voice. You're only hearing the words that they're saying. And then be mindful of other cues. And especially if you're interested in making your own, I highly recommend just listening to a bunch of different people's guided meditations, because you will find something that clicks with some part of you. And you'll probably find little things that click with you in a bunch of different areas. So then you can just take the little things that click with you and put them together into what really clicks with you. And then when you put that out there, you'll find your people who vibe with that. I hope that made sense. I don't really know if that made sense. I have to pee. I really just want to share some encouragement here that just because you are dealing with chronic health issues or you are stuck on the toilet most of the day, you don't have to wait around until you're feeling 100% in order to join life and share your ideas, share your story, share what's going on with you. Also know at the same time, there is no race. Like, you're not missing out on anything by healing. Healing is not a waste of time. Healing is not a waste of time. Taking time for you to sit on the couch, rub your belly and have a heating pad on, drink tea, that's not a waste of time. And I know, at least for me, how hard I am on myself during those days where I really can't do anything. There's a really fine balance between having motivation to create and to share, along with giving yourself the proper time to not create and to not share and to just feel and be inside yourself. For me personally, I know I get stuck on both sides in stages of staying too deep inside myself, and I also get stuck outside of myself and too detached from what's actually going on. I'm not going to pretend like I have it figured out, because I really don't. I am in therapy, and I know that I am very comfortable with all or nothing thinking. Things have to be everything or nothing. I have to be creating every moment of the day and sharing things that are important to me and helping other people. Or if I'm not doing that, just completely staying inside myself, not coming out, not doing anything, not sharing, not speaking. I know that whatever you're doing, whatever stage of life you're currently in right now, is exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't feel like it. Uncomfortable,
painful, dark experiences
are equally necessary as the good, uplifting times of our life. There is no way that you would be able to feel the level of joy that you feel if you do not feel the level of pain that you feel. The deeper the pain, the higher the joy. That's just how it works. The pendulum swings. If the pendulum swings all the way to pain, then it's going to have to swing all the way back up to bliss. But if your pendulum is just kind of like, oh, some things are wrong, like whatever, some things are happy, whatever, and you just don't really go too far in either direction, that's also a thing. So if you have a lot of pain in your life, or if you're dealing with a chronic illness especially, it really, honestly, truthfully is something to be grateful for in the end. So I think we should start by just defining what is healing. Healing is going to be different for everyone. I think that healing is the process of uncovering pain inside of your body and showing it love and compassion and acceptance. To me, that is what healing is. Healing is not getting rid of everything bad that's inside of you. It is not ridding your body of toxins, all these things that you hear of just like purity talk, basically. And I'm probably guilty of it too, honestly, with some of like the names of meditations, just because it sounds like a nice name to me. But the actual message I'm conveying and like the words I'm saying is not about ridding yourself of everything bad and only having good inside of you. This idea of purity, I think, runs super deep. There's a lot of levels to the purity. We could talk about it in a number of different ways. I mean, whiteness is the first thing that comes to mind, and racism, how people without white skin are just looked at as being dirty and not pure. And of course, that's a generalization, but it's a generalization based on history and facts and events that have happened in this country and across the entire world. That way of thinking, that black and white thinking, that pure and impure thinking. Hi, it's Editing Ruthie. So I also wanted to say, I forgot to mention this. I was listening to armchair expert Dax Shepard's podcast, and he made this point, I'm not sure, I forget where he heard it from. At the core of computers, at the core of technology, at the core of our phones, everything that we are using all of the time, at its core, it's nothing but ones and zeros. It's binary. Since we are all using these devices and technology so often, it's kind of seeping into the way we think about everything being binary. It's this or it's that. Like, you're either a Democrat or a Republican. You're either with us or against us. It's that sports mentality. And I just thought that was super interesting. So I wanted to share that. Something to ponder about. has also made its way, of course, into the meditation community and healing and wellness community. Because like every single industry, every single group of people creating is reflective of the society in some way. And it's going to show up in different ways, and sometimes it'll be less obvious than others. I think one of the many ways that white supremacy has made its way into the healing world is by this idea of purity that I hear being preached by a lot of different people. And like I said, I am not immune to this. You learn from your teachers, and if you're taught certain things, you take on those certain things. And it's not until you do some introspection or some work on your own where you can actually sort through what things do I want to take with me and what things do I not think are necessary to continue teaching. And this was one of the ideas that I felt. And it actually came to me. Oh, I have to remember his name. He's so nice. Yes, here he is. Okay. This guy. Kai Tai Kevin Q. But I was listening to one of his live guided meditations on TikTok at one point. First he was cueing, breathe in light and feel light coming into your body. And when you exhale, see like a dark smoke coming out of your body. Super common visualization to use, just different variations of that, of like breathing in positive, exhaling negative, and like visualizing that happening. And that is a very useful thing to do. I'm not saying don't do things like that. What hit me different this time was what he started cueing next. And he said it in a very welcoming way. If you feel like you have the space inside of you, then I invite you to call in or to breathe in the dark smoke and breathe out the light as like a filter. And at first, my first reaction was like, no, like why would I ever want like a dark smoke, negative energy like inside of me? The whole purpose of meditation is to purify my body and to get the bad out of me. I don't want the bad in me. I want it out. But the more he was talking, the more he was cueing, the more I was thinking about it. And I was like mind blown because I recognized the power of that. So I'll break it down. Of course, if you're in a physical and mental state where you can't take on any of the pressures of the outside world, feeling very fragile and sick, then it's probably going to be most beneficial to you to visualize the cleansing of your body, to visualize those dark, heavy, toxic energies leaving your body, and so you don't have to hold on to them. I wouldn't suggest doing this practice while you're feeling that way, but if you have some space in your heart, if you're feeling like you have a lot of love inside of you, then this is a really, really powerful and transformative practice. Because what you can do is visualize all of the heavy, dark smoke, negativity, toxins that everyone around you is feeling and that the world is dealing with, and be that filter where you can breathe in that negativeness and your body transforms it into light, and you bring that light back out into the world. You breathe in the smoke and exhale the light, and like your body is a filter. Your body is a filter for light, because all of the love that is in your heart has the power to transform anything into that love and light. And that's fucking true. I don't care what you say. That feels like the deepest truth to me. I know that that can sound like super out there, woo-woo, hippie, whatever. I don't care anymore. This is how I feel. This is what feels like truth to me. And I'm going to speak my truth, because if it feels like truth to me, I'm sure it feels like truth to at least one other person out there. This has been really helpful to me, so I just want to share it. Just the fact that it felt like such a out there and radical thing to do, I think says a lot about our society and just the way that a lot of wellness communities are cueing healing sessions, you know, and just the whole mindset behind purification. I think that this stems a lot from the actual base teachings of yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga. One of the niyamas is saucha, and saucha means purity. I mean, I feel weird like just brushing on this subject. I feel like if I'm going to talk about this, I should talk about all the 8 limbs of yoga. So, I'll make another video explaining the 8 limbs of yoga to my understanding, and I'll just talk more about it there. But all I'm saying is that that's not the goal. That's not the end goal of a meditation practice. Or that's not the main goal of healing even. Because if you think about it logically, why would anyone be a happy person if the only way you could be happy is if you're completely pure? There would be nobody out there like that. That's not the key. That's not the end goal, is to completely be this holy being. I mean, unless that is your goal. Like, there are some people who I think this is their life for that, and like they're gonna go into a cave for 5 years and purify themselves, and that's fucking awesome. To me, the real process of healing is acceptance and understanding and patience, because it is possible to feel mentally healthy and physically like shit. It really is. I'm currently bleeding from my asshole. That is a current reality that I'm experiencing. And I also feel like I am on the right track. I feel like I'm listening. I feel like I'm absorbing, speaking my truth. And I feel like I'm in a good place in life. And that doesn't have to be linked to my physical health. The fact that I'm saying that is wild to me, because I feel like I've been preaching to myself and to the people around me for years that the reason I can't do certain things is because of my health. And that's valid. That's completely valid. Having health issues definitely holds you back, mentally and physically, of course. But at the same time, whenever you are in a mental space where you're not feeling as connected to that, it doesn't have to hold you back. It can definitely hold you back, but that's not a necessity. Although it might be a necessity for a certain amount of time. But I think of it like a slingshot. For me, the past surgery I had, it's like, oh my God, I'm literally holding a rubber band right now. It's perfect. I don't remember how to do this. The surgery is pulling you back, but then once you recover... Oh no! All right, I only know how to shoot a rubber band like this. Does anyone remember this? The surgery is the pull back, and then afterwards... Oh no! I mean, that might happen. But the surgery pulls you back, and then afterwards... So yeah, I like to think of it like a slingshot. I think that's really helpful. The connection between all of these things feels very obvious to me, but please let me know in the comments if there's any other missing pieces that you can think of or that come to mind just listening to me talk about this. But I feel like just the beginning of purification is a huge start to this feeling that we all hold of like, I have to be healed in order to heal people. So if I'm impure, I'm going to be sharing my impurities with others. For me, that felt like the root of the thought, but I might be totally missing something. So if there's something that I'm kind of blind to right now, I'm very open to learning new information all the time. So please just let me know. Oh, and then the last thing I wanted to share was super powerful. I actually made a TikTok about this. I might put the TikTok up here just so you can see, but I'm just gonna talk about it anyway. My friend Nicole, she posted this, just a little meme thing, very low key. It just said, do things from love, not for love. And the first time that I read it in my head, do things for love, not from love. And then I read it again, and I recognized, I was like, wait, I just read that the wrong way. Like, I switched those words around. I'm like, why did I do that? And then I realized, like, well, if I'm reading it wrong, then I'm probably thinking about it wrong too. So let me contemplate this a little bit longer. So I sat on it, I thought about it for a long time, I wrote about it, and I realized something that felt really big to me. And this might be like completely like duh or like obvious to you, but for whatever reason, this hit me in a certain place at this certain time, and everything kind of clicked together. I've been thinking a lot about what your actions are communicating to the universe, to spirit, to your angels and guides, or anyone who's watching you. What do your thoughts and actions actually communicate? Intention really means everything. What your intention is completely changes the way that things are put out there, the way that things are taken in, whether you recognize it or not. I think if you are my age or around my age and you have grown up with social media, I think it's kind of embedded in us to do things for outward approval, to receive good things back. It's a transactional thing, it feels like. You put something out there and you get a nice comment. Woo, I got some love, that feels great, awesome. And then you're like, well, what's wrong with that? I create something, someone enjoys it, they give me some love. There's nothing wrong with that. There isn't really, I guess like technically, there isn't anything wrong with that. But in a spiritual sense, which is where I'm kind of focusing on here, what you are communicating when you do things with the intention of gathering love, or you go out into the world and look for love. You're like, I need love, I need more love. What you are directly communicating to the universe is that you don't have enough love. And fundamentally, that is wrong. Because every single one of us has all of the love that has ever existed in the universe, ever, already inside of us. So acting in ways where you are going out and trying to get love, you are not acknowledging that you already have all of the love. So you're not being grateful for what you have. And therefore, you're not going to get more, or it's not going to feel good when you get it. The way that we have to flip it is by saying, I have all of the love and I'm going to do everything in my life from the love I already have. I'm not going to go out and try to get more love because that's impossible. I'm going to go out into the world and share the love I already have. And that is for everyone. That fact is not affected by whether you have a chronic illness or not. It's just not. Love is love is love is love is love. And that's that. And that's really what healing is, if we're being honest. Healing is just showing love. If you do Reiki, if you do sound healing, music of any sort, it's love. Every single thing always boils down to love. And love is the most healing thing. Love is everything. And anything else is a lie. And that's facts. I can probably just leave it there, huh? That's fucking facts. I really hope that this made you feel inspired to go out and share the love you already have, no matter what state of health you are in currently, because you are so fucking powerful. You were created for a reason. There is no possible way that you would be here, you would be listening to these words, you would be seeing this. There is no way you would be experiencing anything that you're experiencing if you weren't loved and if you weren't meant to experience them. Because if you just think about the odds, like what are the odds that you are here in this body with working organs and receiving words, receiving information, receiving a healing? This video can be a healing if you take it that way. It's all magic. I hope that this video is a good reminder for you for that. I hope you go out and share this with other people, not even just this video, but I hope you share these messages just in the way that you go about your life and the way you show up in the world and the way you speak to others, because this is what we need. If we want to fix all of these issues that we have, if we want to fix the climate crisis, if we want to fix systemic racism and misogyny, the list goes on, all of the problems that are happening in our world, it has to start with individuals. It has to. The reason we got into this mess is that there is a large collective of individuals who are harboring a lot of toxic shit. So any solution has to come from individual minds. So if you're doing this work, if you're having these thoughts, if you even found this video in the first place, you're already doing it. So I'm proud of you for that, and you should be proud of yourself for that. Literally just for being here. And take everything one day at a time. Be so kind to yourself. Talk to yourself like a best friend. Give yourself that love. That love that you want to pour out into the world, give it to yourself first. If you want to be a healer, give that healing and love to yourself first. but you don't have to only give it to yourself. You can focus on other people too. Okay, anyway. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments below. You can like, you can subscribe, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on TikTok, you can find me on Insight Timer. You can find me anywhere on the internet by searching my name. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Stop.